When you look at data that is being collected and the flow of digital information that happens instantaneously and the technology that is being developed in so many different areas, is that really something that is unsolvable? I don't think so. I know it's solvable, we know it's solvable, and there are swift ways and fast economical ways of doing that with the technology that we have today.
Is privacy and transparency may seem like two sides of the same coin. Just because a transaction is private to the world at large does not mean it's not private to regulating and governing bodies, right? And so sometimes people think about crypto as a way that bad actors can take advantage and monetize. But at the end of the day, blockchain is the most transparent system that is out there. Every single transaction from inception to who it goes to the end is there.
We're gonna rock it like Herb. Rock it like Herb.
Welcome, rockers, to Rock It Like Herb. Rock your body, your mind, and your soul. Today's segment of Rock Your Mind. And we're going to talk about future of money, ownership, and businesses. We're going to also introduce you to a great guy, person, husband, and innovator in the space of money and the security, the transfers, and evolution of how technology is going to be involved with money transactions globally. This is important to us as BVR ONE, and our guest speaker is a great guy, and he's in Bali. He's here with his wife, and we're just so pleased and blessed to have them both here, experiencing the BVR ONE fully integrated system that you'll learn more about. And so, without further ado, I ask you guys to continue watching this video, and the next video is going to have our guest on it, and so we're really excited.
Jasper Fu is a humanist, entrepreneur, advisor, and investor in the data infrastructure, blockchain, and financial industries. His mission is to impact positively at scale and create a healthier, happier, cleaner future. Current focus is on creating more efficient, transparent, and accessible global financial and identity infrastructure. He is founder and CEO of CoinSub, a white-label platform providing payment services providers and fintech companies turnkey product suites to deploy blockchain, stablecoin, and on-chain capabilities under their brand in days, not months. He has a diverse background across actuarial sciences, consulting, trading, engineering, and yoga. He has held roles at PwC, Aon Hewitt, in addition to his own consulting and infrastructure companies, believes in deep relationships that span macro cycles, professions, and time zones.
Hello, Jasper. It's great to have you on. You had a little flight from the US, actually a long flight.
Yeah,
it was a great flight.
Yeah, about 26 hours in, I actually got the quick upgrade on Qatar Airways. First time I've ever had a live down seat. So it was absolutely terrific, and then got to come here and meet you. Yeah. And it's been a lot of fun ever since.
Well, we're really glad to have you here, yourself and your wife. Jasper Fu is an innovator in the tech world. He's worked on many projects. He's brought a lot of great tech, and not only ideas, but actual design, build, implementation of some revolutionary monetization and tokenomics and all kinds of different things when it comes to security levels and many transactional things within the crypto space and the token space and the real world asset. So this is really relevant for us. And as BVR ONE, this is something that we have to look at on our rewards, points, and our entire ecosystem. And so we're really excited to have you here. We're really happy that you're being involved with our BVR ONE, and that your involvement is going to not only be a journey of developing relationships, as we do in BVR, building valuable relationships, but also getting to develop something that is going to be and is revolutionary. So if you wouldn't mind, Jasper, just give a little bit about your background. I know we got a clip. What excites you about the space that you're in with the money that's going to be transferable in digital format? What excites you about that, and why do you think it's going to be so revolutionary in the BVR ecosystem?
Yeah, so I've been in the payments, technology, data infrastructure space for the past probably about 20 years. And I may not look it, and I'll tell you guys why later. But I've seen multiple different tech trends occur, right? Whether it's from, say, like the dot-com boom or the early movement of, say, siloed infrastructure from like hardware systems from large companies to cloud, right? If everyone remembers big data and all of that movement. Or think about Dropbox or Google Drive, the difference between paper filing cabinets moving there. What I see is the same trends occurring in what we call crypto, or the technology underlying it, which is blockchain technology, or better yet, distributed ledger technology. It's more or less the obvious innovation that occurs based on today's technology from, say, an Excel spreadsheet and everyone each company keeping track of things, to this almost globally shared ledger. It's like the internet, but for money, for large amounts of data and shared data, customer data, behavior, things like that. It's where kind of now our innovation and money movement can finally catch up to the desire and demand for global travel, global commerce, and global services. And so to me, this is where humanity takes a next step forward from being on a country by country level, the siloed bank by bank level. You know, I go here, like, which money can I use? I go there, can I open a bank account? To just, we are people, we have our own assets, we own our assets, and they come with us. And so I'm super excited about where this takes humanity on a large scale.
No, I mean, it's time for that. I mean, there was a time, I guess, started maybe 10, 15 years ago, where this type of thought technology was at its earliest stages. And now, after a period of 10, 15 years, we are in a point where we realize it is the future. And you know what you're bringing to the table is going to fit so well with the evolution of BVR ONE. And this is one of the things that are so dynamic. I mean, when you look at skill sets and you look at individuals, your skill set is 100% solving problems and building tech that is going to transition what we have currently that's broken in a lot of ways into the future of digital. My skill set comes from knowing what's broken, working within that ecosystem for the last 40 years, building businesses and understanding and saying, hey, these are the areas that are broken. This is why we need to fix it. How can we improve it? And then your skill set comes in. I can build that. I can do this. I can do that. Obviously with a team that we're fully aware of. So there's always, you know, not the I in team, as we know, but talented people. And it's just amazing. I mean, when we look at the BVR ONE and we look at the ability to, let's say, by heart, I'm a capitalist. I enjoy building. I enjoy seeing success. Success is measured in many ways. And that can be, and in a lot of cases, it's money. You know, how do you measure yourself with money? And so if we can take that old thinking of capitalism and apply that money profit into an ecosystem that is not hoarded by anybody, but is actually circulated to everybody, that is the essence of what is going to make a system improve. We talked about, you know, two of the most important things, and I mentioned this on another conversation I had with others several times, but, you know, two things that are really important in a business: customers and people that work. And if you can satisfy those, obviously service, supply chain, hospitality, everything is going to improve. Loyalty will improve from people. And so the concept and the idea of improving business mechanics and then having the tech ability to bring it into a system, like you say, is data control, transparent, efficient, getting rid of so many different inefficiencies in the line, and making it instantaneous and using different forms of payment that can all be translated and exchanged on chain or in cloud, and then paid directly and monetized directly at the place of business in the local currency. Imagine that world. And this is something that you're working on, and you see it clear as day. So how do you see that working in the future and currently where we are now?
Today, the technology that we have is, well, and the businesses that we have are hundreds of years old, and the structures that we have kind of follow behind the inefficiencies from there, right? Most of the companies that have been built, at least a lot of the banking infrastructure, predate the internet itself. And so their way of thinking, okay, why do we have this digital, global, 24/7 economy, but we can only do banking 9 to 5 for our own money? We can't send it after a certain time and 1 to 2 business days when people's lives go on a day-to-day basis. Why can someone online provide marketing services, digital services? We have digital nomads to anyone across the world. They can actually provide value, but they can't get paid without all these delays and every single bank or government or whatever it is in the middle taking a cut, right? And so what we see here, and maybe the closest thing that we have is maybe like credit cards, right? You see that credit cards are almost universal, not even, those are the most universally accessible thing that we possibly have. You're slapped by conversion fees and all things. Can be accepted here, not accepted there, and then still you get controlled access to these. The closest thing we have that's global, that is usable by anyone and transferable from person to person is cash.
Yep.
But cash right now is restricted basically on a physical level. And so what taking things on-chain does from an ownership perspective, from a traceability perspective, from a trust and security perspective, is the closest thing to cash. The person that actually owns it is the person that owns it. It's not on some bank's ledger waiting to be settled at the end of the day, right? You can actually own it, whatever form that might take, cash, gold, right? This is the closest thing that we have to me being able to send you value directly without it being mediated in the middle. And at the end of the day, that provides humanity a far greater opportunity for mass accelerated growth, just like what happened when everyone got access to email or internet, and anyone can send an email across the world to someone else and meet across the world. This is what I see coming up in the next generation, right? So from, people talk about crypto, it's one application of blockchain technology. It's just a ledger and dataing system, right? But really what it does is it allows, it in itself runs autonomous for the most part by structure from any one necessary government or bank, but rather by participants, by the people. And some of those people are governments, some of those people are companies, but now the control no longer becomes in these siloed pieces, right? One government goes to war against another one, and who suffers? It's always gonna be the individuals, right? Not even the wealthy people, it's the mom and pop shops, the individuals there that always get slapped with it. And that's just not fair. Beyond that, right, the lower fees, because there's less middlemen, right? You go from the US to Thailand, US bank takes a cut, Thailand takes a cut, maybe the middleman money marketer takes a cut, right? So less fees there, right? So it's global, it's 24/7, there's less fees, and the concept of borders doesn't even make sense, right? The exchange of value is between two businesses or two individuals. There shouldn't be an intermediary company right in the middle of that, but rather perhaps, if anything, kind of a governing body that kind of watches over it, but does not necessarily interfere. And so this is the future. There's more benefit to be had on a humanity level, on an individual level, and on a business level. This must happen.
And you raise a very good point. Throughout history, when people are doing something wrong, like you look at the whole financial system right now, what has occurred in the last 10 years is the evolution of opening up money flow and where money flows to. And you look at the Panama Papers, and what was exposed with that. You look at the payments that are being made to organizations that are not necessarily in any respect humanitarian. And so the governments of the world are now saying we need to implement all kinds of slowing restrictions to qualify everyone now that is involved in any type of currency transfer of any kind around the world. Now, who, as you say, got penalized with that? Your ma and pop and your average guys that are working around the world, having a lifestyle, being online, and choosing to do the right thing for all the right reasons, and now they can't pay their bills, they can't receive money, it gets locked, their accounts get locked. Why? Because somewhere down the road, somebody has done something wrong that everybody now has to pay the price for. And when you look at data that is being collected and the flow of digital information that happens instantaneously and the technology that is being developed in so many different areas, is that really something that is unsolvable? I don't think so. I know it's solvable. We know it's solvable. Can you separate bad from good? You can't. And there are swift ways and fast economical ways of doing that with the technology that we have today. So the whole system doesn't need to be blocked, held, controlled for the average person that's trying to make a decent living in the world. And this is what we have to fix.
I absolutely agree, right? One of the things is privacy and transparency may seem like two sides of the same coin, but just because a transaction is private to the world at large does not mean it's not private to regulating and governing bodies, right? And so sometimes people think about crypto as a way that bad actors can take advantage and monetize. But at the end of the day, blockchain is the most transparent system that is out there. Every single transaction from inception to who it goes to the end is there. And now, of course, we can always add anonymity layers onto it. But unlike today's traditional black box banking systems, there is no way necessarily on chain to not basically, once somebody along the chain is identified, you can almost pull the entire thread. And so it almost becomes a system incentivized for good actors rather than trying to fight against bad actors, because that's always an endless battle that over penalizes and impacts people who are just trying to live their day-to-days.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, right now there's, money being cleaned in ways that is using old business. Right now, globally, there's networks that are set up all over, and they actually sell product. Product is then transferred, used as the method of payment, and then credits are given and cash is being exchanged and washed into the system. Where's the blockchain on that in the digital? No, it's not. So to your point, if we put everything on a ledger and we're fully transparent with it all, it is easier to track, if needed, than it is currently with the system that they are slowing down transfers and payments on and blocking accounts. So from a logical point of view, it doesn't make sense.
Same, but more efficient.
Right. Much more efficient.
Yeah.
Not only efficient, but reduces cost. And where does the excess savings go? Back into the ecosystem where it belongs. Because I look at, we have multiple businesses. And when I look at our transaction fees, and with all of our businesses, I'll give you an example. We have in our hospitality business, we end up using OTAs, online travel agents. You know the names, I don't want to mention them on here, but there's many. And so we are obligated to put our properties on there. And the reason we do it, obviously, is they have market penetration. And a lot of people log on to their sites, they book through those OTAs, and they make payments. Now, when you look at the fees that the OTAs charge, and you look at the fees that the credit card companies charge, in some of our alignment of both of those, we're paying up to 30% deducted directly off of the booking. That's a lot of money. 30%. Can that be fixed? Absolutely. Should 30% be paid? No. Should 8, 7, 6, 5% be paid? Yeah. You need profit. you need revenue, you need income. But if you can streamline that system, and this is what we're looking at, and obviously we're building, streamlining that system, squeezing all of the inefficiencies out, get it pure, put it on chain, have it ledgered, have all the data collected, stored, transparent, solves so many problems when people are saying, oh, well, you know, is the money clean? Is it dirty? How are they paying? How are they washing if they are washing? No, it's all transparent. The money that's being saved is going back into the ecosystem where it belongs. Why? Because that ecosystem is giving back to loyal customers. It is creating efficiencies in the way that companies are treating their staff, their employees, and the structures, and the rate of returns that people are going to be getting directly, efficiently, because the system is efficient. When you look at banks right now, I mean, I have some friends in Australia. They walked up to the bank, Commonwealth, and they wanted to withdraw $5,000. They weren't allowed. Their money, deposited, they weren't allowed to withdraw it. What does that mean? It means they had to tell them what the money was being used for, where it was going, why did they need it, and then they had to ask, when is it available? And the bank said, 2 weeks. Now, in today's world, that's ridiculous. And why are people, as you've said, getting punished for all these other areas that are being used to wash money? Why are we getting penalized for it? We're just trying to pay our taxes, move forward, hire people, do good business, treat customers well. It's wrong. I mean, you know the system. You know what it is. You've studied it for years.
Yeah, and so at the end of the day, you know, when we look at a lot of this, right, there's almost no incentive today, or not a few systems today, that can really change the efficiency or economic, like the underlying economic structure of a lot of these transactions. And so everyone makes do with this. But if businesses were to be able to start taking payments directly from people, if FX were far lower, like coming from like Thailand to Bali even, which is same side of the world, I paid almost, I think 7-8% to move from my baht to my rupees. That's in itself is also a bit of ridicularity. And that gets stacked, of course, on top of what platforms charge, travel platforms charge, and the people that, you know, the missing piece really just ends, like, all of that comes out of the businesses that are actually doing all the work, and then coming out of the employees that are actually getting paid. And so should we kind of fix money movement at a higher level, everybody gets more of a piece of the pie.
Yep. The piece of pie, I mean, when you look at the financial statements of the publicly traded institutions, we all have heard this story, and you can trust but verify. Their bread and butter is fee-based, transactional fee-based, ATM fees, transaction fees, currency exchange rate fees. All of those fees that they get is their bread and butter. That adds a massive amount of solid, reoccurring revenue to the bottom line on a consistent basis. And what I think is wrong, personally, perhaps the audience will know, you obviously have your opinion, and I respect it greatly, is when I put my money with a trusted organization and then they start feeing me to death when I want to use my money, I mean, seriously, this is a direction we've gone in as sleeping dogs and allowed it to happen for years. Now, I'm not interested in, nor are any of our businesses interested in causing a disruption. Not at all. Zero interest in that. Improving the system where the efficiencies can be realized in real time for real people, yes, that's what I think needs to be done. So, as we move on, with regards to the loyalty program with BVR, and you've been here already in Bali for a few days, you've experienced the BVR system. how it is fully integrated and how we are working from a old school method of bringing customer service, customer knowledge, and customer appreciation to build loyalty. How do you think, with all that you've heard from what we're doing, a system of digital ownership of currency and transactions, how do you feel that that is going to impact what we have? How do you feel that that is going to be implemented? And how long do you think before phase 1 and phase 2 of BVR ONE is going to be operational?
So as far as the app with One, the experience has been fantastic. So just to talk a little about it, even before my wife and I touched boots on the ground, we were contacted by multiple different companies underneath the kind of BVR ecosystem, right? Whether it was the resort itself, or whether it was the wellness center, or whether it was the people that were going to come pick us up. And usually, if anyone's ever traveled before or even gone to hotels, it's a very, very fragmented experience. You go, put in your preferences on a ride share, you go put in your preferences with the hotel line, and when you get there, they didn't do your preferences, right? Nobody knows your name. But from the get-go, everyone knew my name, everyone knew our allergies, and I only ever had to say it one time. That's huge. Imagine how much, not just from an experience perspective of feeling that I'm actually somebody that wants to now be loyal to the ecosystem, but even from a practicality perspective, imagine how many dollars are wasted of people's time and energy asking over and over and answering over and over, I have this allergy. And then suddenly the staff changes and you go, okay, I have this allergy, right? And so even the most premium experiences that I've gone through in the world don't treat me like a person, they treat me like a piece of data and then have their process that they go through to make sure that that data is collected so probably they don't get sued, But in this case, blockchain can be used for far more than just money movement, right? Money is one aspect of putting data on chain, and it can be people's preferences, people's histories, people's travels, right? If you're really a loyal part of a membership group, shouldn't more effort be put into smoothing out your experience? That's for the customer. It says, hey, we care. Gets people to come back. On the other side, again, saves the company so much time and helps them retain people and helps them actually expand across multiple different business units. I always order the same thing. I always go the same places, 300 nights into the same hotel chain. And yet when I go to a different place, they still ask me the same questions over and over. It's like Groundhog Day. And so that's one thing that I noticed off the bat that is done differently here. And that is something that can be solved from a technology perspective. Secondarily, we have a lot of digital nomads, right? And people that just always travel. So a unified experience where I don't have to spend half my time Googling, where do I go? Where should I go? What's safe? Which out of the 100 money converters on one block, which one do I go to? I was recommended after I showed up, like, okay, cool, go to this money exchanger. This one's safe, people scam you. And then lo and behold, as I walk in over there, I turn around and there's one of your team members on a bike following me to make sure I got to the right one. That's just that extra level of touch, right? And so there's a lot of things where this may seem like a heavy lift right now to add that extra level of value and experience. But the unified experience and all the details and all this data can actually be solved utilizing blockchain technology. That's not even just to talk about the money and how you can create basically this ever-growing space of money comes in from different currency, comes into the BVR ecosystem. Money is tokenized into, say, a BVR token or some form of stable coin, right? And then rather than people having to go through all these other different rails, so long as they come in here, the money is converted, kept, when they leave, returned, they save 500 basis points, 5% in this kind of process of going through. And also that money saved can now go back into ecosystem incentives, promoting some of these small starting businesses and things like that, right? And so, side note, the thing that I was alluding to earlier of like, I might look like I don't have the 20 years of experience because I just got done with one of the Poly Beauty Center things. There's a little treatment that I didn't know existed.
Is it HIFU?
It was HIFU.
Yeah.
And they could go through with this little ultrasonic thing and tightens up my skin. And so I walked out, my wife was like, wow, I look like I'm robbing the cradle.
Yes.
And so just to say, you've done a fantastic job here, and this can be nearly infinitely scalable. by your values, the unified experience you're trying to create, and then also just for digital nomads, global travelers, a growing global ecosystem, these things can be done and done efficiently with kind of the aid of technology that already exists today. It's just that people and the incumbents in this space, the behemoths in space, haven't taken the effort to apply this.
Well, you've used, a four-letter word several times, data. And to some ears, when you hear that, that is a simple word that solves multiple problems. Because the more data you have, the easier it is to solve. So when you look at the technology that's available on accumulating data, we then become an organism that creates data. The data is then received, stored, never forgotten, always remembered, and applied in all the right locations to the right organizations and people. That technology exists. That, in a simple format, is what we have currently, but we don't have it on cloud. And we're going to do that. And we're going to take data from people. Now, it's not robotic. It's not something that a person still would feel, oh, well, now I'm becoming unorganic and I'm not a human being. Of course you're a human being. That data that you create, that data signature that you create on everything that you do when you travel should be on chain. And within the BVR ecosystem, that becomes available to everybody. And your experience should be effortless. Now imagine that in all of the businesses around the world. Who's doing it? Nobody. Who should be doing it? Us. And we are. Why? Because we are the innovators. We've seen the broken system. We've experienced it. And we have the ability, we have the history, we have the drive, we have the technology and the knowledge for us to say, you know what? It's time. This is what I love about working with you, is there is no, there is no can't. There is, we can do that. We can find the solution. Leave it with, that fits with this, brainstorming. That attitude in itself solves all problems. So, Jasper, it's wonderful to be able to brainstorm with you, talk with you, and put things together that we know are going to happen. And I can't wait within the next few months when things actually start to happen. People are going to have a wallet. They're going to go and make a purchase. Points are going to be on their wallet. They're going to see their wallet. They're going to go and say, I want to transact that. I want to monetize that into BVR tokens. Tokens then show up on their personal wallet. Then they look at all the different things that they can participate in within the ecosystem for that wallet, whether you want to stake it. Now, all of that ecosystem, are we going to still conform to the current financial system? Yes. Are there still going to be holes where money is going to be used? Are we going to conform to the current financial system? Yes. Are we going to be able to give to the financial institutions their cut? Yes, but not by greed, by need. They need to sustain themselves. We need them. They're embedded in the system. And that's why I say we're not out to disrupt. We're out to improve. And you can tell by my voice I get super excited. I know you do as well. And we're just starting on this plan. And I hope in the next couple of months, we're going to have something dynamic. So everybody that's watching, stay tuned. You're going to love it. We got lots of great things coming up. Please, send us some messages. We'll reply to you if you want to experience the BVR experience. Or, if you want testimonies from people that have, we're happy to share that with you. But we're just really, really happy that you guys made the time, the effort to fly here, experience it firsthand, because now you know how it should work.
It was an immaculate experience, Herb. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we're more than happy to have you guys, and please come back soon. Let's rock your body, mind, and soul. Only on Rocket Like Herb.
We're gonna rock it like Herb. like herb.